Hey, I'm Joe, and this is Tokco, my 1982 Edmon 36 offshore yacht. And she's been my home for about a year now, and couldn't have asked for anything better. All right, welcome aboard. We're here in the Salon. This is the main room that you come into, like your living room. Things I like to point out in the Salon are the craftsmanship. So this boat was built in Taiwan in the 80s, where they were building tons and tons of these boats for a lot of different manufacturers. And so you look at the joinery and stuff like here, everything is just rock solid, and it's built to, you know, be offshore and to be at sea. You never know when you're gonna hit a wave and you're falling over and you need, you know, a handle or something like that. Everything's beautiful. All this wood has been so well taken care of by the previous owners. Inside, I haven't done a whole lot of work as far as maintenance goes. I redid my cushions here, and then I installed this chair myself, a little chop job. And then some of the electronics up here I've changed. So these two originally worked. This one is the depth sounder, so it'll tell you how much water you've got beneath the boat. It's got this whole little paper deal that rolls through and records the depth the whole time. And then this one is the old autopilot, which never worked. So that was one of the big projects I did shortly after getting the boat, was reinstalling a new autopilot. But I kept those two up there because I think they fit the vintage of the boat, and they're kind of these cool museum pieces, if you will. And then up here, that's all the electronics and the chart display. It's like your TomTom or your GPS. So this area here at the couch is good for everything from your afternoon nap all the way to, you know, I'll set up my iPad and laptop here, watch YouTube videos, how to fix stuff, just hanging out. And then this table here folds out, so you can put 4 or 5 people. We'll set the buckets up around the table and you can have a pretty good meal, play some games. It's a super nice place, either like breakfast in the morning, waking up and chilling out and having something we make on board, or, you know, partying into the night and having people over. This boat has so much good social space. That's something I really love about it, is that you can hang out here on the couch and chill out. You can take a nap in the front, you can go to bed in the back, or you can hang out up top. There's just no shortage of good times on this boat. So this is my captain's chair that I built. I think it came out of like an old Ford Bronco, but the previous one was real flimsy and it didn't stand up well and it wasn't comfortable to sit in. So after doing my first longer trip offshore, I realized like I need something comfier to sit in. So found this on Craigslist, and I got it for 40 bucks and took it to a welding shop, had them put a plate on the bottom, and now I've got this sweet captain's chair. So I throw on my captain hat, and from right here, you got a sweet view of everything around you. Major boater safety thing is your bridge-to-bridge radio. So channel 16 is what we monitor for just general safety, and if you need to call someone else on the water, they'll be on channel 16 as well. So you just call them on the radio by their boat's name if you know it, or what type of boat it is if you can tell. Call them up and then you switch channels and you can chat about whatever you need to on a working channel. With the exception of one summer hanging out on the East Coast with some folks, I hadn't really had a ton of boating experience, but I started to compare van life or camper life and boats and stuff, and I saw that they all kind of have the same parts, but I didn't want to have to find a place to park every night, and I wanted a little more space than a van would afford, and I knew that I would be driving to and from work every day, so I didn't want to have to move my house every single day for work. So that's kind of where the boat thing started to percolate a little bit more. I had seen other folks. So then as I was shopping for boats, I met a couple of people who really made this boat the obvious decision for me. It started with a friend of mine on the East Coast who taught me basically everything I know about small boating. I'm in the Navy, so I have, like, you know, the technical and rules of the road and the big ship stuff that has been my career for 4 years. But he showed me really the joys and the freedom of being on a smaller boat on open water. So welcome to the Galley. This is one of the most important parts of the boat and life aboard. So this is the original 3-burner stove and oven, runs off of propane. I use the stove all the time. The oven is a little finicky, it works, but it's not really worth the hassle. So I just use it now for storage. So we've got some pans and some dry foods and stuff in there. So this sink here was a super important feature that I was looking for and really was lucky to get. I probably would have bought this boat if it didn't have this sink, but having a nice dual-sided deep sink is awesome for cooking and cleaning and doing dishes. I don't have to worry about going down to the dock or anything like that. It's as good or better than the sink I had in my old apartment. And then the faucet though was kind of crummy. It was really short and it was hard to use and do dishes, so I replaced that and quality of life went way up for that one. Over here, we got drawers down this side where I keep, normal cutlery, pots and pans, tons of storage underneath the sink. And then you kind of have this dead space back here where they built a drop-in cabinet right there. So that's where I keep most of my dry goods and stuff, as well as in the oven. And then up here we've got room for glasswares and stuff. I keep just 4 sets of plates and bowls and dishes up there. So like I said, I don't use my oven. It's kind of cumbersome, and turning the propane on is a little bit of a pain. It takes forever to heat up. So what I did instead is I got an air fryer toaster oven combo for like, I think 150 bucks, something like that. And it has been super awesome. It does kind of have a high energy draw. So offshore or on anchor, it's not as usable, but when I'm plugged into the dock, like I am most nights, it's super awesome. Making your chicken nuggets real quick, and you can do everything. Air fryers, I don't know, this is not an air fryer commercial, but they're freaking awesome. And then here I've got an awesome almost full-size fridge. In my opinion, this is perfect for 1 person or 2 if you're cruising long-term. A lot of boats that I've seen of this size have a fridge that stops right here, and so it's a really small fridge and freezer combo. To have a good-sized freezer up here has been super awesome. And then all that space in the fridge makes it really easy to keep fresh food, and to have a fully stocked kitchen, so that living on board and eating on board, it's the whole experience. I don't have to eat out all the time or just eat like crackers and cheese for dinner every night. So the spice rack here is something I stole from van lifers and some Instagrams I saw. I thought that was an awesome idea for how to keep everything neat and tidy, but also really handy and secure for a moving house. And it doubles as a nice backsplash. It's really easy just to wipe that down rather than cleaning all the wood back there when you splash from cooking and stuff. And it's magnetic, so I can keep all my cool guys on there. Super handy. So right here we've got the whole electronic panel. So starting kind of from the bottom, first off we've got our propane switch. So that's the kill switch to make sure if you're not cooking, you're not getting propane in the house. And then right here we've got your battery selector. So you've got house on one side and start on the other. I don't know all the details on my batteries, but I can say that on a boat it's really awesome because you have so much space. You can put a huge battery bank. So I've got 4 massive 12-volt batteries downstairs for my house battery, so that can last me days on anchor. And then the start battery is another 2 12-volt batteries. So on the left-hand side here is all of our 12-volt stuff. So that's anything that you would need while you're underway, all the stuff that runs on less electricity. And then on the right side here, you've got all the outlets, the refrigerator, the battery charger, and water heater. And then up here, you just got your gauge, shows you how your battery's doing. You can do it for the house or the start battery to check and make sure that you're not losing all your juice. One last little thing on this panel is this is our anchor windlass. So up is up and down is down. Super handy to have an electric winch for the anchor so that you don't have to go out there by hand and crank it up every single time, because sometimes you got like 200 feet of anchor and line out there. So this is what we call the V-Berth because it's shaped like a V, and berthings are boat terms for bedrooms. This is also an excellent spot for an afternoon nap. One of my favorite places on the boat. It's nice and dark and cool down here. Both this berthing and then the master cabin in the back are kind of down in the water. So you get basically like natural air conditioning. So it might be 90 degrees outside, but down in the boat, down low here, it stays nice and cool, about 70 degrees. Aside from being the guest bedroom, this is also kind of like my gear storage closet. I've got all my wetsuits and towels and kind of beach stuff over there, and then guitar amp, future electronic projects for the boat. Guitar lives here. But you can comfortably sleep 2 people. When the whole family comes into town, my parents get the back, and then my brother and I will sleep up here. We've never had the sisters on board yet, but we'll find a way to sleep everybody up here. And then over here on this side is more kind of toy storage. I got my snorkel stuff, football, and then just extra bedding here. All of these cushions come up, and then there's deep storage below. So a lot of it, like up here, is super inaccessible, so I don't use it much. But if I were doing a long trip, I could put all kinds of canned food and water jugs and whatever kind of stuff up there. But these drawers here just kind of have miscellaneous junk drawer type stuff that you would have anywhere. So this is the captain's stateroom or master cabin. Basically, it's the bedroom. And so you can see I got a pretty nice, nearly queen size bed. This is one of the upgrades I made as well. The original owners had, it was just like a foam mattress pad, which was okay, but I had my like memory foam mattress from my apartment and I didn't know how to get rid of it, and I liked it. So what I did is I just took like a bread saw and I cut it right down the middle and threw it in the back of my truck and wedged it through the door. And then I cut out, you know, a little corner back there. My memory foam mattress is like a big old sponge, so you can just cut it to fit the shape perfectly. And now I've got, you know, as nice a bed as I would have in any other house. It can be a little chilly in the winter time. I got a space heater, but lots of wool blankets, and it's a pretty nice place to sleep. Sleeping on a boat, if you've never done it, is really, really great. A little bit of motion. It's like being in a cradle, like being a little kid again. So another thing a lot of boat people complain about is not having enough storage room, but I've got, you know, pretty much a full-size closet here, as well as drawers and cabinets on the side. But this is most of my clothes here. I keep my suitcases under there, and then it even goes back that way, where I keep towels and linens and all that stuff. So back here on a boat, we call it the head. And so this is pretty sweet on this boat. Again, a lot of boats this size have pretty simple commode options. But when you get in there, you'll see I got a tub back there. So got a standing shower, kind of sitting tub, electric toilet, which is nice, not a manual pump, and then plenty of cabinet space for all the toiletries and items. One of the best pieces of advice somebody gave me was that when you buy a boat, you become the maintenance man, the electrician, the plumber, the housekeeper. You become every single facet of owning and operating a boat. It has changed pretty much every one of my senses. Every time I step on the boat, I breathe in and I smell like, does anything smell funky? Does it smell like fuel? Does it smell like gas? My balance is different. When I first moved on, I learned all of my stuff was on one side of the boat and it was tilting just a tiny bit and it was driving me mad. Is the vibration of the engine, is that right? Is everything okay? Is something changed? Is it different? In your hearing as well. Does everything sound right? Is the engine, you know, purring like it should? Is the water moving the way that I'm used to? Everything changes. So this is, I guess, the aft deck. I call it the back porch sometimes. One of the awesome social areas. I got some chairs up here that we'll bring down or cook on the grill. We turn the party lights on, just kind of hang out. It's like your backyard, you know, if you're having a block party, everybody's out on their boats, hanging out, play some music, and just chill out. It's a super fun place to be in the sun, watch the sunset, watch the sunrise. Got a really beautiful view of San Diego skyline right that way. It's a really great spot to hang out. So two little things we got here are a little 12-volt charger for USBs. That was an install I did that's been super helpful for charging cameras, phones, iPads, whatever you got while you're up here. And then this one here is part of the autopilot install that I did. So this is basically your selector. You turn to the left if you want to go left, you turn to the right if you want to go right. You set it to a compass heading and it'll drive for you. You can also, with that screen down below, you can set it up so that you put in a track on the chart and the boat will just drive itself. So you don't even have to be on the wheel. You always have to have a lookout, rules of the road, but you can just let the boat drive itself when you're in open, safe water. So up here, this whole general area is what we call the forecastle, but it's where you got like your ground and tackle for anchoring. So we've got a single anchor up here, pretty versatile for most bottom conditions. This is the winch that the switch inside will just pull it right up for you. And then over here, these are also little foot pedal buttons that you can bring the anchor up to. Same thing as the switch inside, just up and down. That way, if you're single-handing, you can do it all yourself from out here. So that's it for my house. Thanks for floating with me for a while. If you want to keep following what me and some of my friends are doing on the boats, my personal Instagram is @AlofaJoe. And then my friend Johnny and I have started a dual page for our boats for everything from maintenance to lifestyle to cruising, everything like that. So if you want to follow @Crown City Trawlers, you can find more information there.